outer space. That's where I'll see your...
Hello again, everybody. You may be able to notice from the probably not very healthy color of my face, I've been in the sun today. And something else happened to me that hasn't happened to me in a really long time, and that is I kind of got scammed. I kind of fell for a typical tourist trap situation. Yes, trying to get to Salines Beach, which I'm gonna show you later in this video. It happened, and it's been a long time since something like this has happened to me, so I feel like my average is okay, and it wasn't really that big of a deal, but I'm gonna run you through everything that happened and sort of why it happened so you know how to react in this situation. I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides. I travel all around the world to popular and not so popular tourist destinations to give you a very honest, unofficial look at what it's like to be there. And as far as popularity, I am just leaving the island of Ibiza, a very popular island here in the Mediterranean. I've done a bunch of Mediterranean cruises now. I've been to so many of the popular Mediterranean ports, but I've actually only been to Ibiza one time before, and that sort of factors into what happened today, because when I was here last time, it was with Virgin Voyages, and where the ships dock, it's about like a 2.5–3 mile walk into the city of Ibiza. And when I was here last time, I also went to the beach that I went to today that we're gonna go to in a little bit too. But Virgin Voyages had buses just running the whole day back and forth from the ship to the city and back. Costa, however,
they don't do that.
They just have one bus going every 45 minutes and you have to pay for it. So I decided I wasn't gonna do that and I was gonna find another way to get into the city this morning. Where we're docked is the furthest position down the pier. So when we exited the ship today, everybody was being directed to go down here by the lighthouse and then around here into the cruise port area. And the first tent that we passed there, that's where the ish went down. I figured, all right, if Costa doesn't have buses provided, then I'm just gonna take a taxi to the main bus station in the city because I knew that's where I can get the bus to the beach I wanted to go to. And in front of this tent that also says tourist information, there were several friendly people standing around answering questions. And one of the questions that most people were asking is,
how do I get into the city from here?
And the friendly people working there were all saying, oh, you need to take the city boat. It's really easy. It leaves just from right around the corner here. They go about every 15 minutes and a return trip is €6, or you can get a combination with some other things. Why don't you just go in here? They'll be able to help you. And I literally asked the woman, isn't there a bus situation? And she said, oh, a bus? A bus? Maybe does your ship have a bus? And it's already been established. Yes and no. And then I said, well, what about taking a taxi? Ooh, no. Taxi, if you want to take a taxi, you'll have to call for it because no taxis come out here and you'll have to wait for it to get here. Really, just take the city boat. That's the best way to do it. And I was kind of looking around and somebody next to me asked, can we walk to the city? And she said, oh no, don't walk to the city. It's too hot today. So that's where I fell for it. I went in to a tent that literally said tourist information, but all they were doing in there was selling tickets for this city boat transportation system. I paid my €6 for the city boat, not a lot of money, but as soon as I left the tent, I walked maybe 2 minutes towards where I'm supposed to get on the city boat, and lo and behold, not only is there a taxi stand with taxis waiting, but there's also a bus station with a bus going into the city. So that's what happened. None of this would have happened if I had known that Costa wasn't providing the same kind of transportation that other cruise lines provide when they're here. But now I know, and now you know about the options as well. You can take this city boat from just around the corner to the parking lot. You can take the city bus, or you can also take a taxi. So that being said, now I want to take you to the beautiful Salines Beach. This was our docking position, and right around the corner here is that first tent I was talking about that said tourist information, but that was only selling tickets for the city boat. Then a little bit further down is where the actual city bus stop is and the taxi stand. Just around the corner from the parking lot is where the city boat then actually docks, and these little boats leave about every
every 15 minutes take you across the bay to this pier here.
Just wanted to let you know.
Once the city boat got me over to the city side of the port, I knew where I had to go. It's about I want to say maybe 10-minute walk from the pier basically to where the main bus station is. Just look for the street Cristobal. Pretty easy to remember. On the way up to the bus station, I passed several little mini marts, so I bought a huge bottle of water, which I drank really quickly. The bus station looks like this. If you're walking to the station from the pier area of Ibiza, this is what it looks like. Actually, for the buses that go to Salines, you can buy a ticket from the bus driver. You don't have to buy one from the counter. At least that's how it was today. They always appreciate if you have exact change, and they don't take cards, only cash. So that's also something you're going to need to know if you want to take the bus down to Salines.
While I was waiting for the bus, I dropped the cap of my water bottle onto the disgustingly dirty floor of the bus station, and I wanted to ask you, what would you have done in this situation? Would you have just slammed the bottle of water, drunk it all in one sitting and forgotten about the cap, or would you have rinsed it off with water from the bottle and put it back on? What would you have done? Let me know in the comments.
I boarded the bus. It was freezing cold inside. It's absolutely freezing in this bus. I took bus number 11, it stopped at bus stop 10.
So many numbers.
And after about 20 minutes of driving along the island of Ibiza, also stopping at a couple of other stops, we ended up at the final stop, which is where the beach is. Salines is the last stop, and you'll know when you get here because everybody else is getting off the bus too. And one nice thing about where the bus stops is there's a little supermarket right here, so you can buy some cold water or some cold beer or maybe some snacks before you head over to the beach. And as far as which way to go, like I said, just follow everybody else. Everybody is going to the beach when you get off of the bus here at Salines.
We're always made for you. I'll fly to space just to get to you. I just wanted to let you know.
You walk through this fun little village of bars and restaurants on the way, and there is a sign right here, like just a short walk inside, but that is not the only entrance to the beach. You can also walk further down and also more entrances to the beach. And one nice thing to know is right here, there are bathrooms. You know how often I talk about bathrooms, but it's just something important to me. If I need to, use the bathroom, I want to know that I have the possibility. All right, well, I'm taking the first pathway up to the beach anyways, just to show you what you see from here. And it's pretty spectacular. Of course, it would be nicer if it was sunny, but it's still really warm. And oh my gosh, even though it's cloudy, this beach is crowded. It's 10:30 in the morning, and it's like, there's a lot of people here. If you want to use one of these chairs and umbrellas, there are people renting them out. All right, the beds and umbrellas and chairs belong to this B place, which is a cool looking bar up here. And the guy told me that a bed cost $40, but that includes lunch. And the chairs and umbrellas are $10 a piece, but they're all reserved for today anyways, so I wouldn't be able to get one, even if I wanted one. But because it's not sunny, and because I bought this sassy new hat that gives me a lot of shade, I don't need an umbrella anyways, do I? All right, this place is actually called Beso Beach, not B. Beso Beach. And I was just filming and realized there were naked boobies in the background, so sorry for anybody who wanted to see the naked boobies. I'm not putting that in this video, but speaking of clothing optional, there is a great big clothing optional beach just about 15 minutes walk on the other side of this peninsula. I have been there last time, and I might go check it out today. It's a little more natural and not as commercial. There aren't lots of places to buy something to eat and drink there. There's not a lot of families. There's not people playing like, you know, volleyball and stuff. So if you want a little more chill atmosphere and you're not bothered by the clothing optional thing, then you can go just a little bit ways down that way. So if you look at this person walking away from me here, one thing that I've noticed a lot more here than the last time I was here, and I don't know if it's because I was in the off season last time, but there are a lot of vendors walking up and down the beach, asking to braid your hair, asking to sell you a sarong, asking to sell you a blanket, asking to sell you a keychain. I don't remember it being like that last time I was here, but I guess it's not that non-typical for popular beaches in tourist areas. I know a lot of the beaches in Virgin Islands, you don't have like 5 minutes of break in between people coming up to you trying to sell you something. So I don't think that should discourage you from coming to this beach, but I don't remember that happening at all when I was on the clothing optional beach. So maybe another reason to go over there. This beach also does have several lifeguard stations, and I even saw them giving a little bit of first aid to a kid who somehow, I don't know, he was bleeding out of the side of his leg. So not sure what happened there. I hung out at the beach for a little while, and when I was thinking about getting in the water, I just thought, gosh, there are so many people here. I'm gonna have to keep a really close eye on my bag, and I kind of decided to skip it. But I did go over to the other side to the clothing optional beach because I knew there would be less people there. Spoiler alert, I was right. And it turned out to be a beautiful afternoon over there. And if you want to see more about getting over there and what it was like when I got there, you can go to patreon.com/veryunofficial because I'm posting the same video in an extended version with the clothing optional beach, but
You ain't gonna see no boobies.
let me just give you that information before you sign up. This beach is so much calmer and so much more relaxed. There are more rocks at parts of it, and the only other thing that makes it special is that it's clothing optional. Ooh, and the sand is hot. Ow, ow, ow. And these freaking bugs in the trees. When do you guys go on break? Don't you need a nap? By the way, if you are staying on Ibiza and coming here with a rental car, there is a big parking lot here with shade included. And I don't know how much it costs, but I just want to let you know that it is available. There's the supermarket and the bus stop is right there. And if for some reason you miss your bus or you don't want to take the bus or whatever, there is a taxi stand right here. And there was just some taxis there, but they all just got taken away by passengers. And I'm happy to see that there aren't like 5,000 people waiting for the bus, which should be here in like 10 minutes if the schedule is correct. And so I will make it back to the ship in time with no problem, as long as the stupid city boat is running correctly too. I'm trying to let that go, but it's still kind of frustrating. It was so sunny, but it was so peaceful and so nice to just hang out at the beach. Marcus sent me a picture of what it's like back in Hamburg, cold and rainy. And when I got back to the ship, they were actually playing tennis upstairs. I've done a lot of things on cruise ships, including playing a lot of pickleball, but I've never seen actual tennis being played on a ship. Of course, the court is much smaller and the rackets and the balls pretty crappy, but it was fun to play my favorite sport on a cruise ship, combining two things that I really enjoy. If you enjoyed this video, please press the thumbs up before you go. Consider subscribing if you haven't done it yet. And if you're planning a cruise with Costa or a trip to Ibiza and you have some questions, Let me know in the comments below. I try to read and answer as many comments as I can. And now I think I'm gonna go get some huge, cold something to drink and hang out in the shade somewhere. But I hope to see you back here soon on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Bye-bye.